South Carolina. I was like, where does he live? Right. It's nice. Right. Well, if you were in North Carolina, it would be a problem. But yes, if you were in South Carolina, then yeah. Oh, the countdown? I don't I Uh-huh. No, they can't. I'm listening to it. Okay. Wait, but nobody said South Carolina here. Can they hear me? I wonder if maybe they can hear me? Alright.
You know, it's great. I wanted to hide you. And then, no, the first thing that comes up is you here. Hey there, welcome. Welcome to the live stream, my friends. We're here. I would say something else, but unfortunately, GentalmanWake has alerted me that I shouldn't be full piggy for this particular video. But this is going to be a little bit of an interview, a hot interview with a hot person. GentalmanWake, we know Omar. He's opened up his home to me many times. I've wished he opened up other things, but unfortunately, I can only dream. And today, he's here for two purposes, two purpose. One is to, I guess, indulge in conversation with your boy Piggy. And the other one is to push his deck. And this actually serves as a little bit of an intervention for Omar because he's had a hard time with his deck. And what I thought is that I would teach him how to run a successful Kickstarter campaign. So let me put him up here. You could see him. You could hear him now. There you are.
Hello.
Hey, Omar.
What's up, man?
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like it depends if you're Spanish or if you speak English as your first language.
Well, you're no longer living in Miami, so you don't have any sort of reason as to why you should have any sort of Spanglish or any if you order chicken over there.
That's true. That's true. There is some pretty good barbecue here, I gotta admit.
Okay, I believe that. I'm hoping that you turn into what your surrounding is. So you essentially become a product of South Carolina.
The deep south. The deep south.
Yeah. That's kind of my hopes, and then it will turn you into a little bit like me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if that'll ever happen. But we're here with GentalmanWake, and we're gonna go through some memories, and we're gonna talk about his brand new deck, which I don't have. I was kind of telling you earlier, I have the successor, which is this one. You can't see it on yours, but you could see it on the stream here. Paul Flick says bad echo. I don't know if that's the case. Let me check that out. You don't come here for production quality. So let me see if I could hear my own stream. I know this isn't good television, but you know what you are right now? You are a guinea pig for future interviews. Okay.
Yeah, you want to make sure you got this straightened out.
I'm waiting for you to talk.
I'm speaking. Hello. I'm saying hello. Hello. Check 1, check 1, 2. Anybody can hear me?
No, you sound great. You know what it is? I think it's your peaking. That's what it is, dude. You're peaking. So that's a
good problem.
Audio video term for when your audio supersedes the capacity of the I can't even continue bullshitting. I was also talking to you earlier on how many times I've asked you for advice when it comes to gigs and stuff for videography, and that you have a very very sarcastic way of letting me know that I'm not on your level, which is and you do it so naturally, which is even more insulting.
Oh man,
no echo for me. I don't hear an echo.
One of those things. It's just one of those things that comes easy.
Of course, yeah, of course. Okay, so for you, but for me, I actually have a photography gig coming up in a weekend. So your boy's out here.
Okay,
I just edited a trailer for a product coming out. That's not even my own.
Damn.
So look at that. I'm adding stuff. I'm adding notches on the bed frame.
Good. That's good. That's really good.
We're not here to talk about me.
Especially how you've had that. You can add a successful Kickstarter campaign to that bed frame. Well,
I'm glad you brought that up. Because I'm looking at yours here right now. I don't know if I could bring it up. Let me see if I can. I don't even know if people even want to see this, to be honest. But this is a deck, and what I hate about your decks is that your decks look phenomenal, right? My decks look like I kind of winged it. But your decks look like somebody actually put time and effort into them, which the part is that I actually put time and effort on my cards. But, I could say that you were working with a very talented artist for this particular one. Who was it?
It was Sergeant Vidakovic.
Okay.
Or Vidakovic, also known as Wittick Design. So he's the artist responsible for decks like Devils in the Details, the Planet series that Vanda released a couple of years ago that did really well, where they did one deck per planet. And it was a big success. So he was somebody that I had identified early on as somebody that I wanted to work with, and I was really like impressed with his skills
Oh, okay.
as a designer.
Don't mind me. I'm just I'm putting up the Kickstarter page, but then because I'm also being the producer of my show, I'm also
At the
adding.
same time.
Yeah, this is when you were on ham radio before, and it was I guess the visual equivalent of thalidomide. It was because Daniel was the producer and he was awful. So what I'm doing now is that I'm doing that, and then I'm adding you.
Both jobs. You're doing both jobs at the same time.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's kind of part and parcel of the PigCake experience here. It's not really this. I mean, this isn't Chris Ramsey's channel, right? This isn't equality. So let's go over here. I now added you to the reaction page. So this is the Kickstarter page. Now mine, I don't know. Mine funded. Yours doesn't look like it's funding anytime soon. Which this is what I want to talk to you about.
Not looking great.
Yeah.
Looking good.
So now this one, now not being ironic or funny or facetious. I'm very upset at you. I'm very jealous. But in this case, the goal was set at 22. Is there any reason why you are setting it that what I would think is very high?
You say that, but Successor had a $97,000 goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very, very high.
Okay.
This is more in line with the projects that I've done previous to this, where I believe Parlor was 17 and a half, and I think Tempest was 19 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
We went up, based on that kind of algorithm. I raised it to 22 and a half for this one because I wanted, because things have gotten more expensive in general, like pandemic and inflation and all that stuff has made it kind of crazy. So we get to the point where you kind of have to adjust for a little bit of the pricing to make sure that it makes sense.
That's one of the things that we're talking about earlier, which I think people don't tend to understand, especially now, which is what I'm learning as a virgin. Actually, your competitor, technically, right? We're competition.
We're competition. That's true.
What I'm understanding now is that number one, everything costs money. Number two, that's why when you said, for example, like, hey, remember to set money aside for shipping. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like boxes? What are boxes going to cost? No, shipping to France and England and China and Japan and Australia.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive. I did tell you to set money aside. I hope you did.
Yeah. I've not touched a dime of that money. And I've only...
after it's over. Yeah.
What I've done, by the way, what I'm doing right now is this is a Aldi's knockoff Corona beer. And then I'm adding mixed berry to it.
Interesting.
How low class is this? By the way, you can leave a voicemail down in the description section. You could find a link to leave a voicemail if you want to leave one for Omar and or me. Please refrain from using any slurs because today we have a special guest and I don't want to scare him away. And here we have obviously some comments. I don't want you to think that the mass of my channel has gone to my head and I'm ignoring the comments here. GentalmanWake is a Jada Coles 12 says corn pop. Now
that's not saying a lot. That's basically calling me like a 3.
No. I've already talked about the Jada Coles rule, which is why I'm surprised as to the PigCake community being aware of Jada Coles being the local bar. There's actually a new bar that's opening up that I'm gonna now call my local. But Jada Coles, the rule is that if you're a Jada Coles 10, you're a Publix 5.
Right.
So Publix supermarket for those people that are from countries that don't have freedom. So if you go to Publix and you are an 8, you're a genuine 8, right? Whereas if you're in Jada Coles and you're a 10, you're a Publix 5. So you got to do your due diligence. But when you're in Jada Coles, so what he's saying is that you're a 6, which I think is a
6 is good. That's good. I'll take it.
Travesty. No. You're honestly, there are times when I've been very jealous of your wife just because I'm like, why does she have to like all the love and stuff and then I don't get anything, even though I mean, like what was your channel when I helped you out? Like 4 subscribers and then I help you for video and then boom, stratosphere. Now you're making decks.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, although obviously the YouTube channel died off because I haven't been, or I wouldn't say died off, but definitely is in a coma because I just haven't been producing that many YouTube videos lately. But the Kickstarters are, obviously the Kickstarters are going strong. I have managed to build a little bit of an Instagram presence, over the years, 6,000 or 7,000 people.
Ooh,
But
more than me.
if I only need 430 people to get $82,000, that's great. I mean, that's fantastic. That goes to show you that the community doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be loyal and committed.
That's what I was saying when it came to my deck. I was saying, wow, you know what? We're short, but our respected penises are tall, right? So very grateful to my mom for funding, for helping me fund. Very grateful to my father actually decided to come back and fund my deck. So very grateful to that. Now you here, just looking at the Beetleback deck, right? Now this one obviously is one of many of your line. You now are a brand, my friend.
Yeah, I guess that would be accurate. I mean, if you go to the GentalmanWake.com, there's a website, and you can, pick all the different decks from there, and Well, yeah, I think that's always been the goal, man. And to be honest, I mean, I think from the very beginning, I've always admired like what a company like Theory 11 has done with their brand, and although I do things differently than they do, and I would want to do things differently than they do, I do admire that they have a consistent brand and that they have a good reach, and that a lot of people buy their stuff. That's always great.
Well, right now I'm scrolling through your website, which, by the way, very, very well done. Definitely not a Google Sites page like mine. But there are some little things that I want to point out that I guess afterwards I'll help you out with on the website. But for now, it looks good. Now, the thing about it here that I'm looking at is obviously the mass of the line that you've had here. It's a very particular type of look, but it's all when you see it, it's yours.
Yeah, I think I mean that's all of that is part of brand building, and I know you and I have spoken about it many times of my long 25-year career in the marketing business.
Emphasis on long.
Yeah. 25 years of being in the marketing and advertising world will do that, right? We'll make some concepts kind of sink in so that you start to behave in the ways that other brands, that are successful behave. And one of the things that one of the ways to do that is to make sure that you're consistent, that you have a consistency, that people can come to your site and each release that we do is different from the previous ones, but they all feel like they belong in the same family,
Well,
because in theory, if somebody likes the first one, they'll like the second, the third, and the fourth.
Well, that's the part that I guess I'm now trying to suck off of you, hopefully physically, but metaphorically, that I'm trying to suck you off in terms of, absorbing your knowledge and like, wow, look at this. Look at what he's doing. He's building this brand. It's very iconic. It's if you see the deck, all right, that's GentalmanWake. You know what it is. Now, did you derive inspiration from playingcards.com and Will Roya?
Actually, Will's a very nice guy. I met Will a couple years ago when I went out actually for the Parlor. So the first campaign I ever did was the Parlor playing cards. I launched that on Kickstarter. That was designed by Lorenzo Gaggiotti, better known as Stockholm 17. Still a good friend of mine. And he designed a deck, and and I wanted to make sure that I got out there and I spread the word about it, and I met with a bunch of people. We collaborated on a few things, and then we also had I went out and I collaborated with the Buck twins over at Art of Play. I met with Alex Pandrea. I met with Assad Chaudhry, better known as Cards 52 or 52 Cards. I can't remember which one comes first. And we did, we talked a little bit about the Parlor deck with all those people. And one of the stops I made was in Vegas, and at the time Will Roya had his shop there, and I met Will Roya, a nice guy, and he showed me the playingcards.com or is it playingcarddex.com? I think it's playingcarddex or .net. Is it playingcarddex.com?
Yeah, .com might be a little bit too expensive.
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah. So I've been there, and he has a different philosophy than I have with our campaigns. I think Will has primarily done two things. He does like reproduction decks that I think are pretty cool, and he also does like some crazy like cat decks and like
that's my favorite deck in my collection. The cat deck,
and it's just random like birds and parrots and like just random decks that he does. That I think they have there's a market out there for those decks because obviously he's continued to make them.
Which is
philosophy.
Well, I was trolling, obviously, but as far as that one, I know
that.
But you gave me such a legitimate and nice and gentlemanly answer. I wouldn't expect anything more.
I'm not gonna be, shading anybody.
Well, I did a review on the mushroom deck where I went with Daniel and we went to the woods. We went to a park with trees, so I guess you could consider that woods. And this is before I showed my face, but I was very proud of that video, and like 14 people saw it. Because I went to the woods and then I looked up all these like mycology, which is a study of mushroom. I looked up all these like terms and these names and shit, and I would name drop them, and I was getting erect, and it was great. So I want to do the same with the chicken deck and the cat deck, but I don't like cats and chickens. I'd have to put effort to find a cackle of chickens and then try to use them for the video. I don't know. It'd be too much for 14 views.
I like Corn Pop's comment here. Wake's cards remind me of Theory 11, but way better. More like Theory 33.
Well, we have a thing here. We have a thing on this channel. I ever since, you've known me and you've said, wow, Piggy's production is a little bit lackluster. But look at this right here. I'm giving Corn Pop the pin of glory. All right, he's getting a pin of glory. You can't see that until the stream catches up. But see, that's clever. That's a clever comment. So he's getting the pin of glory. And now we get to bask under the pin of glory that Corn Pop has produced. Usually,
I see it.
I give the pin when it's like you say something like, hey, yo, Piggy, you're looking good today or whatever. And then I have a pin of shame. And the pin of shame is like when they're like, hey, yo, is that the guy from Big Bang Theory? Hey, yo, how'd you reach up to the table with your height problem or whatever? Those are the ones that I give the pin of shame because those are not warranted here on this channel. There's no freedom of speech on this channel. But we do have some other comments here. Let me see if I could go through these. I don't like to skip them.
But just to iterate, one of the things about Theory 11 that's amazing, okay, is how they've been able to permeate into Walmart and Target, and they get their product basically everywhere. Barnes and Noble, Walgreens, it's really impressive how they've grown their business. Obviously, they're the one thing they do that I haven't been able to is really bring down their pricing. Part of the reason they can bring down their pricing is because of the volume they print, and the other reason they can bring down their pricing is because they don't do stuff as fancy as the stuff that we do. Where I think Corn Pop gets his idea that we should, we're basically Theory 33 because, we end up using, Pantone metallic inks and 5 foils on a tuck box. Sometimes the tuck box has a metal plate attached to it with a sculpture that's been pressed into zinc alloy. We go the extra mile on our stuff. And also we print very small print runs. So that means invariably it's more expensive.
Well, okay, that's interesting. I don't know if you know this about my deck, but my deck has air cushion finish. So I don't know what you're saying over there in your little talking about metallic ink and stuff.
I've never had a deck with air cushion finish.
Oh, wow. So, says a lot.
Touche.
Says a lot about your quality up there. I don't know what finish do you have.
The B9 True Linen.
B9. That's how I like my tumors. You get
B9 True Linen. And how old is that dad joke?
I'm the one that created it. I'm the one that made it ever since their Cardamundi.
That's how old it is. It's come back around.
It's come back around. It's like a boomerang.
Your own joke it sounds like a dad joke.
What drives me nuts about your decks, which are hysterical, is I remember at least with the parlor deck, you're like, no, I gotta have a coin with it. No, I gotta have this with it. No, I gotta add this, and you kept adding stuff, and that's the thing. Yeah, you have the coin there that you just magically produced. What is that? A Sony A3, A9,
A3.
Oh wow, isn't that sort of virgin-y that I guessed that?
A 7C rather. I'm sorry, a Sony 7C.
Okay, so thank you for deflating me. But you kept adding stuff, and that's the other part that I don't think people understand when it comes to the back end of this stuff. Like, you're paying, like, for this deck, you're making 88 in the thing. You're not making 88. That's not going in your pocket, okay? That's production, that's shipping,
Look,
that's
I'm not
storage.
going to speak about this particular campaign yet because it hasn't happened, right? Like, I still haven't gotten the money. I still haven't ordered decks. I still haven't figured out what things are going to cost to that level of minutia of detail. But what I can tell you is that Successor, which raised like 250K or whatever, felt like a massive success in a lot of ways, and looks like a massive success, but it was very expensive. It was a very, very expensive product, and I was invested like $40,000 before I even pressed launch on the campaign. Like, it was I spent a lot of money to get that campaign going. And I think people lose sight of that a little bit. Like, sometimes, like, you know, you back a Kickstarter campaign, you look at the number and you're like, oh, wow, that guy's putting 80 grand in his pocket. But it's not like that at all. Like, there's some massive expenses. And by the end of it, whatever you're making is got to be enough to, number one, make it worthwhile. And number two, you know, be able to pay for all the investment that you made, you know, beforehand, and all the stress and work that it takes to actually pull off a campaign. I mean, I know now that you having done it and now going through it, you know that it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, you know.
Well, and speak for yourself, but you know.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man? For me, this is my first rodeo, Omar. All right, you know.
But it's tricky, man. It gets to be a little crazy, like when you really start to break things down. And you know, I've had conversations with people before where they're like, well, why do you charge, you know, $65 for the Dynasty deck? And I'm like, listen, the pricing is never based on production costs per se. Like, yeah, because the argument that I can't stand when I hear it is, oh, you know, it only costs Cardamundi like $6 or $8 or $9 to print that deck, or $10 or $11, whatever it is.
But okay.
Right, but they don't take into account that you had to pay an artist to design it, you had to print prototypes, you had to make, you know, pay a photographer to take pictures of it. You know, in the Successor's case, we had like this whole that whole box, the metal box that we made, that was like a massive ordeal. We had a sculptor to sculpt. Yeah, the sarcophagus. We had to have a sculptor to sculpt the metal. Then we had a vendor that had to cast the metal and make the metal for the lid, and then we had to send it to another vendor to take the lids and incorporate them into the wooden box and make the wooden box. And I had to go through 3 prototype iterations just to get that right. So yeah, there's a lot involved in these things, in these projects, and sometimes the bigger they are, you know, it looks like it's this amazing amount of money, and it's, you know, it's enough money that it's worthwhile for me to do it. But it takes a long time. These projects, Beetlebax has been more than 2 years since the inception of the project. Like, I think Surgeon is the designer, Whittick. Him and I talked about this project when the Tempest was still fulfilling. So it's been a long time that we've been working on this. And there are other projects, like, for instance, we're here talking about the Beetlebax. I'm already past this. Like, I'm already working on the next 3 things. Like I've got Lorenzo and I are going to come back together and do another round of the Parlor for the 5th anniversary of the Parlor deck, which is next year. So we're going to get together and we're going to do some new additions to fill out the line, because at the time I only had the red, the blue, the black, and the Dynasty green, right? So there was 4 Parlor decks. Since then, I've started to do like 6 decks per campaign, or sometimes 7. So there's some gaps to fill, I think, in the Parlor campaign, like specifically like the Prism and like a Legacy edition and stuff like that. So we're gonna go back and revisit that. We're gonna doing that next year with Kevin. I'm working on a new deck called Sanctuary that we're gonna release, I think sometime next year as well. And then I'm working on the next tentpole TGW deck, which is designed by Russ Gray, who did he did the Harry Potter deck for Theory 11.
Shit.
And he's a fantastic designer.
Okay.
And we're almost done with it. It's beautiful. It's called The Grave Witness, and it's basically going to be like a mystery in a tuck box. Like, we're making like a mystery in a tuck box. So it's, you know, there's going to be a puzzle that you can actually solve if you get the deck, when you get the deck. and I'm even going so far as to write like a 13 chapter novella that goes with it, that goes with the deck. Will be part of the Kickstarter campaign. So yeah, it's a massive campaign, and that's gonna be like my next really, really big campaign, and that won't be for a while.
There's a guy that does puzzles. You should like consider sending him something like that. Ramsey or whatever his name was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not a bad idea, actually. I mean, it'd be interesting.
See what he has to say.
He would like solve it in like 5 seconds because he just does so many puzzles and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Not like, you know, you look at the instructions and you go, man, shit. How can I stretch this to 10 minutes?
I don't know. I mean, does he do that?
I don't know. That's what I would do.
I actually spoke to him because, you know, prior to this campaign, I did a couple of collaborations with Wormwood Gaming. We did a couple of decks. I creative designed, basically creative directed a couple of decks that were produced for them that did very, very well. They raised like, between them, it was like $800,000 or $750,000 of funding and something like that.
Wow, nice.
So yeah, they did quite well.
Yeah.
And we actually spoke to Ramsey via email. We chatted back and forth a couple times to see if he was interested in doing a little bit of a promo. But we caught him at a bad time. He was in the middle of producing some other stuff that he couldn't really get away from, and it was too short term. The notice was too quick. Short term notice. So we ended up not doing it. But it only took me 4.5 years to get his attention.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say that's like me with girls. Although I did hit him up when he was down here in Miami, and I'm like, hey, you're in Miami, let's fucking get a beer or something. And the response from him was like, imagine you had like a crazy girlfriend that you dated, I don't know, like when you got out of college, and then she messaged you out of the blue, right? And then you're obviously in a committed relationship and a marriage, and she's really insistent. That was what I felt, like how he was responding to me. Like I was a nuisance.
You were the insistent.
Yeah. That's what it felt like. Because he gave me like really short one-word answers. I'm like, hey, let's hang out. Let's get a beer. He's like, I'm leaving. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Leaving where? He goes, in the AM. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. This is what it must feel like to be la otra. You know, like the other... or maybe it could be the affair that you don't want to talk about around the missus, you know?
One of the things that I always appreciated about you was that when I had 400 subscribers, you still weren't like, you know, and I think at the time you might have been at 30 or something like that, or in the 30s or something. And you didn't treat me like some nothing, like a pleb, which I appreciate.
Well, that was one of the things that I think I've told you many times, and I've mentioned here on the stream as well, that I remember when I saw your video and I'm like, I know that fucking Target. Like I know that Target anywhere. That is some Miami Target. And then that's when I think we opened up a line of communication. And I was this shows you my retardation, which I get reminded of every time I go to England, and people are like, hey, can you sign my deck? Could you take a picture with me? And I'm like, oh, people like this stuff. Like that's weird. I was like, oh man, GentalmanWake's not gonna respond to me. Like his quality's great, like his shit's tremendous. I'm a fucking idiot, you know. Like he's not gonna message me back. And then you're like, no, bro, you know, you wanted to keep this relationship going and then see what we could kind of squeeze out of it.
We did some pretty funny stuff, man. I think we did some pretty funny stuff back in the day, like the episode where you came on my show where you were like doing magic for food. That was really funny. Yeah.
Well, I had, and I still have it, not scripted, but at least storyboarded. The idea that I want to have as far as the video, but it was too much shit. It involved a van, and what it was that we would do a collab. I mean, I guess I could say it, seeing that when I do it. And then it was my way of just trying to talk to your wife. Like, just hang out with her. Like, that was the bit. So I wanted to like, let me, and you're like, hey, so we're going to get to work on this? And I'm like, yeah, hold up. And then I would,
that's funny.
Which is the bit. So that, granted.
Things that you did. I even edited one of your tutorials to make it sound like you were in a nightclub, like giving as a nightclub act.
Yeah. I remember that one. But what I was going to say is that was 4 years ago. How crazy is that?
Yeah, something like that.
And we've gone through
I was pre-parlor, so that was 6 years ago.
Oh, 6 years ago. I've been doing this for a long time then.
Yeah, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Corn Pop says, "Remember when I kidnapped Piggy?" Yeah, that was funny. That was a funny video too, where you were like on your channel. You did it on your channel.
Oh yeah, okay, with the gun and the bit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was Parlor, I want to say.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was Parlor.
'Cause but the Parlor was your second deck.
The Parlor was my first deck.
Your first deck. So then what was the second deck?
Tempest.
Okay, so I'm completely dumb because I thought I remember the timing and I'm like, oh, I remember I helped you with the Parlor deck and then I helped you with there was another deck that I helped you with a gaff pack. Was that the Parlor?
We did the Parlor gaff, but after that was once it was produced.
Okay, see, that's why.
Parlor gaff, and then I think you might have given me advice for the Tempest gaff. I don't remember exactly.
I consulted.
Man, I figured out. So if you go to my Kickstarter page and you scroll down,
let's do that. You're in charge of me now. So right now we are currently looking. I
don't know what's going to happen as far as reaching this goal because it's 800%, and that would require quite a bit of influx of additional backers.
Okay, so right now we're scrolling down.
If you go almost all the way down, I would say
Crimson Edition, Cobalt Edition, Prestige Edition, Dynastine Edition.
Yes.
We have Prism Edition.
Yes.
Legacy.
After the Prism Edition, there's something called the Magic Bundle Edition. Did you get there? You're out there. Hold on. So there's some samples of like the gaffs that we're gonna produce if we get there, and there's one with the two beetles. You see the King of Hearts with the two beetles?
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is on the backs of the cards where there's a beetle guy, I'm just gonna have the empty chair on the back.
Okay, so then it looks like it kind of inverted.
So like kind of inverted. I think it'll be a fun little gaff card if we can get that far, because obviously the stretch goal is like a little further away than I would want it to be.
Well, I mean, it's only been a day, right?
Well, it's been a couple days. Today's day 3, and we had a good day 3. It started off really, really positive, really, really well. We actually made more day 3 than we did after day 2. So day 3 was actually a little bit higher, or just about the same as day 2, which is unusual for a campaign. Usually it's a pretty dramatic drop off from day to day. It's just the way the campaigns work.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. From my understanding, I thought that it's like day 1 you panic, and then it's 30 days, and then last day is when there's like a surgence of, and then that's
people want to come through. Look, it's the inverted. It typically is an inverted bell curve.
Okay, like a pyramid scheme.
You had the half of that. You had the
reverse funnel, Bernie Madoff. That's what I had. No, it's not a no. Look, all right. If you join Mary Kay, it's not a pit. You've heard of these. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a legacy system. Fuck.
So the inverted bell curve, it makes it so that obviously every day is a little bit less at the beginning, and then towards the end there's a little spike that takes it back up. It never gets as high as it got the first day for me anyway.
Hold on.
In fact, on Successor it was like painful because it was like a blistering first day, like the most money I've ever seen a campaign raise in one day, and then it was like flatline the rest of the way.
Okay, like my love life, right?
Well, did you have the blistering first day?
Yeah, just a passionate romp, and then actually, no, I would say that's every relationship I've ever been on.
It's a different kind of blistering.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to make that joke because you're here. But we have a question here from Cameron, which is a legitimate question. And it's, what's Omar's favorite genre of card magic?
Oh, it'd be hard to know because I'm not really a magician. So,
which is why you're married.
Right. So I don't really know the answer to that. So what are the genres? Maybe I can, if you educate me on what the different genres of card magic are, then maybe I could offer, from my knowledge of card magic, which
honestly, just by being in the business 23 years at this point in magic, I would say you look like a gospel magician sort of dude.
What is gospel?
Like you use magic tricks to preach, So you'd be like, this card represents the sins that you carry and the apostle. And then you make it disappear, like that sort of bit,
I don't know. I feel like so I didn't even know that there were genres of card magic. I was unaware that
Well,
that was a
there's
thing.
cardistry, right?
Oh, well,
Which,
cardistry is not magic though. Cardistry is like
but you know what I've noticed people now doing in these compilations from people that are now a fraction of my age, doing things that I would never imagine with playing cards. They're incorporating magic into the cardistry, and they're like doing like a cut, and then there's like a vanish, and you go, "Oh, okay, that's
oh,
cool."
well,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That would be the next evolution of cardistry. You know.
What I wanted to do was, but I couldn't afford it because I just paid a fat tax payment. Was I wanted to go to Cardistry Con and then hand out. Well, I have an idea for a deck, which I
Okay.
think would work. And if I say it here, I guess whoever comes up with it would be copying my idea. So I want to have a
You're in
deodorant.
essence, you'd be copywriting it.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll do that, right? But it's a deodor deck. So it's like a deck that looks like a deodorant stick. So then hypothetically, I'd be handing out deodorant with the QR code for it. I should not say
Okay.
this. Yeah, I should not keep going because it's a good idea. So I go to CardistryCon and hand out deodorant sticks with the QR code for the deck. And the deck is, it's like, you know those boxes that open
Are
from
you
the top?
handing out deodorant? Are you handing out deodorant at CardistryCon because everybody smells? at
Because yeah,
CardistryCon?
they're fucking loser virgins. So the what I wanted to do was, and then the deck would be the deck would look like deodorant, right? And then when you pop the top, it's like blue, like the deodorant stick. And then you could remove
Okay.
the deck and then do tricks with it, and then put it back in the thing, and it looks like a deodorant canister. So that was the idea. And then the deodor deck. So that's
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
the idea that I want to do. And then that would be like, oh, they get insulted, but then they're like, oh, that's cool because they've made the cracker deck, right? They've made the whatever. Oh, look, this it looks like whatever
I don't know much about cardistry to be honest, because as far as cardistry decks are concerned, 'cause it's not something that obviously I did some reviews of cardistry decks over the years, Fontaine and Anyone Worldwide and stuff like that. Really, because I was interested in growing the brand, the YouTube channel, and wanting to get as many new viewers as possible. And I know that a lot of people do like that stuff, but there were never really the decks that I was like that I gravitated towards. And Corn Pop says that he's seen Wake do a little cardistry, and yeah, I mean, if you want to call it that, it's more like
I've seen that. I've seen it in person, and it's good.
It's more like fake stuff.
That's good. That's good that you're not good at it.
That I'm not good at it.
Yeah, the better. What I say is that the better you are as a magician, the worse you are as a person, and the better you are as a person.
I think like if you, and I don't know if you got a chance to watch the video for this new campaign. I just didn't even do cardistry this time. I was like, fuck it. I don't know.
You're like, here's the deck. Here, take it.
Showed pictures of the deck and video of the deck, and just showed the cards. And yeah, I don't really think that the folks who are, although look, honestly, like cards can look awesome in motion, like when you're doing the cardistry stuff, and it helps to kind of sell the idea of the cards.
You're so lucky you're married and hot because things like that would it make you completely unfuckable. But what I was going to tell you, which is funny, when you mentioned the Buck twins, I don't know do you know about the secret Buck twin?
I know about the other brother.
There's a
I didn't know
third.
that he's not a twin.
No, I know, but it's like it's funny to say that was the
Right.
secret third one, and it's
Yeah,
like
I know that there's a third brother.
they don't talk about him.
He's older, I think. I don't even know that is he even involved in the business? I'm not sure.
Not even. He's on the side of things that you dislike. So my side,
I see it. I see your point.
aggressively.
I don't really know. I don't really know him. I don't really know them very well. So I mean, I met Dan in San Diego and went to the shop, and that was really cool. And then Dave came out to LA when I was in LA, and he lives in LA. And I met with him also for a video that we did, and it was like this really awkward thing where my wife dressed up as one of her characters, Kyle, and like did an interview of him,
And he's like, didn't get it.
it was kind of like cringe funny. It was like one of those things where it's like he really wasn't like settling into the joke. I felt bad afterwards. I apologized because I don't think that he got it.
Well,
what we're trying to do.
to be fair, he did get really popular doing cardistry.
Yeah, sure, and that's part of. I mean, listen, the interview that I did with him was reverential. Like I just wanted to get to know him and get to talk about all the amazing things he's been able to do, and about the brand and the things that they do. And as from coming from a place of admiration, I was also trying to just be funny and like have a funny little bit at the end of that video. And it ended up not, I guess not resonating with him, I guess. I mean, he did it, and he was a good sport about it. I just don't think that in hindsight that he appreciated it.
Reciprocity, I think, is the word. Yeah. There wasn't a reciprocation there. But I think I've realized that going to conventions, quite a few. I might go to the next one. I might actually work the next one, which is crazy. But I've noticed that the magicians tend to be a little bit they're very serious about themselves. But what they're doing is like essentially very unserious, because they have this sort of perspective about themselves that they're above you, but then they take out their polished cups and they're showing you a cups and balls trick, and you go, you're a clown. Like, I don't know what you're thinking you do, but
polished cups.
Polished cups.
Look, man, I don't make any. I am tangential to the cardistry and magic community. So anything that I would say that would be considered a slight, I'm just redirecting at myself, right? Like at the end of the day.
What?
So yeah, and actually Jason brings up a good question. He said, what percentage of my buyers are magicians, collectors, and card players? I would say that for Parlor, there was a definite higher number of magicians, because we had almost 1,500 backers. I'm going to make a joke here. But we only raised 150,000.
Nice. So they're spending too much money on.
Must have been a lot more magicians, because they didn't spend nearly as much money as the later campaigns, which tended to be much more collector focused. There's that.
Yeah, that's the part that I think that you're now capitalizing on. That you have essentially a brand new demographic of people that are now into your decks. So not the usual like magicians that are like, oh, does this work impromptu? Does this, like, they're not thinking, magician restrictions.
I still try to be magician friendly. Because, like, for instance, on this deck, it's going to be mnemonica stack out of the box.
Yeah.
So, mnemonica stack out of the box and stuff like that. So I still try to be magician friendly. And like I said, I've went ahead and prepared a gaff pack, whether it gets unlocked or not. We'll see. But
what's the number on that? What would it need to get?
800%. So twice, we'd be at like 160, more or less, or 170, 170. I mean, it's possible. It's unlikely, but it's possible.
I think it's likely. I think it's very likely.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes, man. Like, honestly, like, here's the thing about doing it the way we did it on. Okay, so this is an interesting comparison, because on Successor, which is the previous campaign, and this campaign, the two were very different in a lot of ways. For one thing, with Successor, it was show everything up front. I didn't want to string people along, because I had heard some feedback that people didn't like they didn't necessarily like having to come back to the campaign to constantly add new items and change tiers and all that stuff. They wanted to know everything up front. So I said, okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that with Successor and see where it goes. And what it resulted in was a very, very explosive first day of campaign backing, where it was 197,000. It was a ridiculous amount of money in one day. And then the rest of the campaign just middled and was flatlined, like I mentioned, and didn't really have any peaks and valleys or any significant, peaks that you would get from a normal campaign that has stretch goals that unlock and whatnot. With this campaign, with Beetlebacks, I went back to the previous system that had worked very well for me, which was I wanted to really be smart about it. Number one, Successor was extremely stressful because it was very expensive and it cost a lot of money just to get the production going. So I needed to set my because of all the things that I wanted to do, I needed to set my funding goal at $97,000 or $99,000. It was $99,750, $99,750, right?
$100,000.
So basically almost $100,000 just to even get that project off the ground, because I couldn't make it happen unless I got there. Right, that's how much money it was going to cost, and this campaign, I didn't want that stress. I was like, okay, so I'm going to design the campaign to be more incremental. I want to go back to the previous system where in my mind, I think it's better to generate excitement and engagement among the backers and have them participate and come back and see what's new. I think it just makes for a more exciting campaign. It gives more opportunity for people to add more. And yeah, maybe there's a contingent of people who rather know everything up front, but I think there's a disconnect between what people want and what they respond to. I think they think that they want to know everything up front, but when things are incrementally added, it's more exciting and it's more interesting, and they get more involved. So I wanted to go back to that system, and in doing so, it affords me an opportunity, obviously, to fund at any level of past the 22.5 that I was initially asking. It allows me to fund the advancements and the improvements incrementally. So one of the things that I did was, and what helps to kind of build momentum during the campaign is moving, making certain decks and editions become available after certain numbers that you reach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for us, 400% is a big number because that unlocks the Prism edition, and that's a very expensive edition with very limited number. And even if 100 people grabbed it, because it's an $85 deck, it's an $85 edition, because it's so limited. If only 100 people grab it, that's $8,500, right? And that dramatically lifts the number. So what that does is getting to 400 unlocks a new item that gets us to 500, that unlocks a new item that gets us to 600, and all of a sudden you can start building momentum and you start really churning, and you never know, you might make it to 800, but we'll see.
Well, also, I'm looking at the deck now on the page here, and what's great that you didn't go with is, like you say, custom courts, and
they are custom.
Yeah, but it's not like, oh, hey, the Queen of Spades is my best friend, right? Like
we didn't do that, and I am guilty of having done that on Parlor, where the King of Hearts and the Queen of Hearts were myself and Lady Wake.
Mm-hmm.
But that's cute one time. I didn't want to. That's not what I'm about. I just want a standard deck of cards that I think feels premium and looks premium, but can still be used for Magic and can still be used for gameplay, and you won't miss a beat, right? Like these court cards look like standard courts, but like are fancier.
Yeah, yeah. So the part that looks, they stand out. They're nice. Your King of Hearts from your deck has been everywhere. I've taken you because the closest thing I could get to you. So I've rubbed it all over my body in different orifices. But Orify, yeah. But that trend kills me every time I see somebody. They're like, this deck represents my long lost girlfriend. It's like, shut up, Mm-hmm. But I guess one off. All right, I'll give you the pass only because you're hot.
Yeah, just the one time. We just did it the one time, but I'm happy with. I think Surgeon did a fantastic job. If you can see some of them are more obvious than others, but every court card, every single one of those cards has like a little beetle detail that's hidden in it.
Yeah, the art's
sometimes it's physical beetle in the picture, and sometimes it's like hidden in their garment. Sometimes it's hidden in their hat, or stuff like that. So it's kind of cool because it's an extra little bit of personalization that I think works. So it's just like on Parlor where we did, where every court card was holding like a piece of like ephemera that you would find, or
in
some
that
vintage,
it was done.
Pipe or something that was that would speak to the GentalmanWake's Parlor, the room that we were kind of using in the first couple of years of the YouTube channel.
Well,
this one also similar.
I guess to ask you a serious question, right? When it comes to these decks, now you put it in the hands of very talented designers, right? Mm-hmm. Now your input obviously is tremendous. Like you have to say, "Hey, I like this. I don't like this." But what's your initial like inspiration? Is sort of this vintage classic. I almost want to say. Apothecary, like one of those weird trendy stores.
A little bit of that. So, are you speaking about beetlebacks in specific?
Everything in general, because it's a very common trend that you have among all the decks.
Well, here's how I look at playing cards. I look at playing cards as historical, just like a historical document. Like it's something that's been around for ages, and there's been different iterations of playing cards over the centuries, and and they're all a little bit different. They all do a little bit different things. But what it does, I think, is open up the avenue to look at it as little slices of history or whatever. So, for instance, on Parlor, we're very inspired by Victorian era England and the Victorian vibes that come from that, which is why Parlor has a lot of that, the mask patterns and the pipes and the gramophones and all that phones and all that stuff. And then on Tempest, we wanted to do like this whole thing about like this Houdini-esque character that goes on a ship and gets stranded on a shipwrecked on an island and wants to come back to his love or whatever. And that was also based kind of like in the history and the whimsy of history, And I think Successor obviously is about the line of kings and royalty and all that stuff, which makes sense again for playing cards with the court cards and all that stuff. And on this one, I'm revisiting. I'm the kind of the late 19th century, early 20th century, time where it's like the 1890s into the early 1900s, where science was beginning to be a thing, and entomology and all that stuff, and Darwin had made his discoveries, and so one of the main inspirations for the Beetlebacks is Franz Kafka. I don't know if you ever read The Metamorphosis. I know in high school I had to read it, and my wife did too. So I don't know if other people were made to read it. But yeah,
in the Stone Age.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the Kafka-esque aspect of this particular deck is was kind of important. But look, like we're working on a deck for, obviously the Parlor is going to revisit the Victorian vibe. The Sanctuary deck is one based on like the cathedrals and the stained glass windows that you find in cathedrals that always like tell like biblical stories, like every cathedral or whatever. So we're doing that, and then on the Grave Witness is like a 1930s, 1940s vibe where it's very much like almost inspired by Agatha Christie and Clue and so those like kind of murder mysteries of the era. Yeah.
Okay, that's hot. Now I'm showing right now the
classic, definitely classic is a thing that I strive for. Like classic is something that I think I want every one of my decks to feel. Like I'm not gonna be making a deck that's about like robots. I don't think so. I mean, I may at some point, I guess, but not now.
Funny that you mentioned that. I don't know if you could see the screen, but I'm showing the Friendly Felines deck right now. And I just want to know where you think they got their inspiration from. Like, is it furries? Is it like, are you aware of the furry community? Like, do you know about the furries?
I am aware tangentially of what that is. I don't really follow. I'm not a follower of it. But I remember I got a Friendly Felines. You know how Will sends out like little packets of other cards, like little Franken packets with every deck that like he buy a deck from him, he sends you like a little packet of cards so that people are like, oh, what's this card? I want this deck. And I remember getting a couple of these, and like I just I thought it was pretty funny. Like,
it's very like sort of erotic. I don't know. I got a weird vibe with these when I open up the Friendly Felines deck. I've seen a furry in person, and it's not a good look. I don't know if you've seen one in person.
I have not.
No? Okay. Well, briefly, this girl dragged me to like a Disney-themed DJ set. And I was surrounded by a bunch of just, honestly, troglodytes. And there was a person in front of me, a dude, that he had a little tail out. And he had these things, right? Like the little, and he had a tail coming out of his backside. And I'm like, oh, so that's what a furry looks like. And I found out what a furry smells like. I don't know if you know this. A furry smells like shit. Shit smells like literal shit. So I don't know if they keep the trend to themselves and they go, "Oh, I'm just gonna keep character."
I was gonna say humidity because I can't imagine this, but like wearing a suit of polyester fur is not gonna cause a sweat problem.
They're very expensive too. Someone here says the Victorian era is my absolute favorite vibe. No cap. No cap. mystery deck would be fucking dope. So we have some things here.
The mystery deck's gonna be really fun. In fact, I don't even know if I can share some of that with you. Maybe I can share a little sneak peek.
Ooh, look at that, an exclusive. Yeah, I'm gonna expand your window so now everybody could see your beautiful salt and pepper.
I'll tell you when I'm ready. Here.
What's your grooming routine like?
Oh, dude, I live in a house now in like South Carolina. I don't groom. You know, like maybe in my 30s. I mean, in the traditional sense, obviously I take showers and brush teeth.
Of course, because you're not a magician.
But, yeah.
Well, what I noticed one time you came to my my shoebox apartment at the time. I remember that one, and I forgot what we were doing, but you came over, and I think you were picking me up, so we go somewhere, and for a video, and you're like, "Oh, I have to do gel my hair. Like I have to gel my hair."
Yeah, well, just before this interview, I was like, "Oh man, my hair's crazy." I had to put a hat on here just to kind of
cover your hair. And what I hate about your hair.
Hold on a second. How do I share? Oh, here we go.
Okay, so now let me make you bigger.
All right. Here I am sharing with you.
Yeah, please don't.
This is like highly top secret stuff. Okay.
Okay, so I'll make sure to hide your screen.
Exactly. So, can you see this?
I can see you right now.
Okay. How do I?
I think I have to do that on my end. Let me see if I could. Right now, I see the GentalmanWake. I see the Grave Witness.
Yeah, you see that? Okay. That's what I want to show you. All right.
There you go.
So this is the first peek at what the Grave Witness will look like. This is the mystery deck that we are putting together. Basically, every character in the story is being represented as a potential suspect in the story itself.
Okay, so each like court card is like, oh, that could be the killer.
Yeah, exactly, and we've hidden little clues in every card.
Oh,
that are either red herrings or lead to the solving of the case.
Clever, you clever cat.
So this is really fun. I'm going to show you one more, and there's these subtle differences like between like. Obviously, the name, it says, like, for instance, it says Dr. Williford Appear, which is, by the way, a homage to the character of the Beetlebacks, which is also named Williford.
Okay.
Entomologist, and there's the beetle.
So there's a universe. There's an extended universe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a whole Marvel Universe thing, an MCU kind of thing. This is like the distant, I don't know, grandchild of the other one or the son. But there's like subtle differences. Like over here, if you look inside this magnifying glass, there's a little red hair and it's missing over here. So there's like little subtle differences that you can find even among the cards themselves that give you, some clues as to how to potentially solve the case.
I hate how clever that is, because it's hysterical that one of them is a murder, and I guess there's this back lore to it. And
so that's why I'm writing this 13. So I'm writing there's 13 chapters because it's an introductory chapter, and then in the interrogation of each character by the inspector.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then
interrogating each character,
and they have to figure out which one.
Correct, and then you can get a sense for how to how to solve the case, so to speak. But so there's going to be various editions as always. There'll be a Dynasty edition and there'll be a Prism edition, and we're going to have like different editions. But it's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be Russ Gray has done a beautiful job with the artwork. I really love the style that he's chosen and the kind of the unique flair. We've been working on it for a long time, and this is just like the standard edition, which is just red and black. But there's other versions that are, like gonna have gold foil.
Ooh, damn!
That are gonna look really good, and then the black becomes this blue, like this midnight blue.
Okay.
And these are still kind of early and whatnot, but we're still working on all the different things
so that's what you really mean it when you say, oh, you're 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, I absolutely. And if hold on, maybe I could show you some of the sanctuary stuff.
I was gonna say, now that you're in the thing, let's look through your photos. Like maybe if you're shirtless or like if you're at a pool or something. I don't know if.
No, I'm not. I am not.
No, okay. I tried. It doesn't hurt to ask. You know, you never know. You never know. One time, I'd be like, all right, you know what? I'm feeling quirky.
Oh, you never know. So hold on, I want to show you this real quick. Let me.
Yeah, this is becoming great television right now.
Well, just give it a chance, man.
I'm being a sassy prick. Let me short myself here, and then when I see that you actually did it,
go back to the previous version.
I was recently playing as virgin as it sounds. I like old school murder mystery games. So there was one called Colonel's Bequest that was like a 90s. It's the same person that made King's Quest. I don't know if you're familiar with those games.
I'm not.
Okay, well, you've actually seen vaginas before. But a King's Quest, it's like this classic, it's like 8 or 9 versions, and then the same person, Roberta Williams, made a bunch of other games. There was one called Phantasmagoria. That was like one of the first visual games where they had video elements, and I'd always wanted to do like some sort of homage to that because I've loved that. But this is hot.
All right, so let me show you here. I'm going to show you again.
So let me expand you here. The production value in the show, by the way, is just unmatched.
It's so good.
There's no transitions here. I'm just zooming into your
the Sanctuary deck tuck box so you guys can see.
Well, right now it says watch stream, so I don't know what maybe here. Oh, that's me, and then that's you. Let me see if I click watch stream. Am I supposed to click on it? Let's see. Right now it's your mug, so it's your face that's popping up. Okay, there you go. Figured it out.
You got it?
Yeah, this looks tremendous. So this is where you said about the stained glass.
Yeah, the stained glass vibe that we're going for.
Okay.
So this is, I think, pretty exciting. He's done a fantastic job with the artwork for this. We're really quite pleased. Happy to have my name on the box, just to say that. And each card will have, I don't know, can you see that, this card?
Yeah, that Cantrell is a little bit like I would say egotistical though.
Well, it's his brand. So Kevin has started this new brand, and he chose me as his production partner, which obviously is an honor to be able to do. So one of the, obviously this is his brand. This is not a GentalmanWake deck per se. It's produced by the GentalmanWake, but it's a Kevin Cantrell deck.
Okay.
So this is obviously the Ace of Spades.
Now you showed me. We're back to me. Okay.
So, obviously leaning into the whole stained glass thing, we're going to use foil to kind of delineate all the different colors and all the different things, and the Ace of Hearts. So it's quite nice. I think he's done a fantastic job. So we're really excited about that. So we're working on that, and this is almost done. We also have the Via Balluno deck that we worked on, and some other things.
Oh yeah, well the good thing is that now at least that we're opening up this line of communication. I give you some like pointers on design elements and things like that. Because just looking at that, I already have a couple notes from that, so I don't know if
all right, if you want to just put them down in an email.
Yeah,
and I'll take a look.
Well, you or your assistant? Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go through here. I know that I have some voicemails. I'm really hoping that none of them contain slurs, because this voicemail service that I use, it's anonymous. You could essentially be anonymous.
Oh, okay.
So each one, it's kind of exciting. It's like I don't know if you have up there where you live in fucking Hickville.
Hold on, let me answer this because this is a serious question. Toby, he says he adores the Prestige Edition, but January 25 shipping. Okay, so. Here's what differentiates so far. I've been lucky enough. What differentiates the GentalmanWake from other Kickstarter producers, and I'm not including you, present company excluded.
Yeah, I'm shaking the screen right now just to emphasize.
Yeah. Most of the time, Kickstarter producers promise that they're going to deliver something way too soon than they're actually able to deliver it. So they say, "Oh, I'm going to have it to you by June," and then you don't get it until November. I prescribe to the opposite theory, which is I would much rather say, surprise, it's early, than oops, we're late. So what I'm trying to do when I set my estimates for things is to overestimate for the amount of time that I need rather than underestimate. So yeah, so what I do is I put usually a year from the end of the campaign, and I know we're still in November of 2024, and I'm adding January 2025, because the reality is the campaign won't end for 25 days or 22 days, and then it takes Kickstarter another 2 weeks to even get me the funding. So, and then we're in the middle of the holidays, like literally Christmas and New Year's. No one's taking orders during that time, so I got to wait till January 2024 to place the order. At which point, it'll give me a year to get that stuff back. Now, chances are it won't take a year, but things happen. Cartamundi recently, Cartamundi is my preferred printer of choice. They recently suspended all custom playing cards production for 6 months while they moved their facilities from Belgium to Spain. And they did this like sight unseen. They did this like, hey, by the way, we're doing this. And it's like, oh no, if you had a production waiting to be finished, guess what? Now you're screwed. Now you got to wait. So I am planning ahead for those things. So hopefully you'll have it way before January 2025. But if for some reason you don't, I'm still going to be on time.
Nice. Good. Very, very eloquent.
Okay.
So let me make you smaller here because you were speaking and now this is my show. So I have to make you smaller.
You give me the floor.
Yeah. Did you notice the background, by the way? The background here?
I can, yeah. Hold on. I'm not. I gotta wait for the stream to catch up.
Okay, then you're covering it, so now I gotta move you out of the way.
Right.
It's a 80s high energy compilation of the 45th president of the United States. So,
yeah, I did see a little bit of that.
80s high energy. It's the sort of thing that I kind of live my life with, like the high energy. Like I don't want to be a low energy magician. I want to be everything high energy. Right.
But what you need to do, man, is you need to set this up so that you have like, scenes that are preset so that you don't have to be resizing everything in the middle of the stream.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I should do that. I do that, all right, but I'm not expecting interviews often. This is a one-man show. I'm out here doing interviews. Sorry, fuck. I'm out here doing segments on my own. I don't typically do interviews, okay? So this is a new branch. So now I have to add, I might have to pay for your consultation to learn about this with your 20 years experience.
Thank you. 25.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I did that on purpose so you would correct me.
We met 6 years ago. Now it's 25. You got to keep adding time because it's been that many more years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Toby finally says that, and he says, I got him there with that one. I sold him with my explanation as to why January 2025 was my my date.
Make the cards out of glass, so if you drop them, they act like shrapnel. That's a good idea. I don't know if Cardamundi is going to be down for selling weapons.
For the sanctuary version?
Let's go through these. That's very cool. I was going to say dried semen. I don't know what that refers to, but okay. Science was a thing from like the 1600s. When do you think Newton lived? So, all right. I guess there's some sort of
I just got burned. I got burned.
In the UK, it's officially Black Friday. I think we call it a person of color now. What's the PigCake live chat discount? There's none. It's a Kickstarter, right? You can't add percentages off.
However, okay, well done. But for the few souls that are trudging along and still sticking through this really boring conversation between two people who think they know a lot about nothing.
I don't like what you said there. I don't like that, but okay.
I promised that I would have a giveaway. If you go to wake.video/contest, you can fill out a form and get some entries. You're gonna get if you do win, you'll have a Beetlebax prototype. There's actually gonna be 2 winners. So at the very least, you'll win a Beetlebax prototype if you win, and in some cases you can win 2 prototype decks.
Okay, so
and prototype decks are valuable. You put them up on eBay, you get $100 for them. So,
wake.com/video.
Wake.video.
Oh, .video.
Wake.video/contest.
Wow, very small. I would say that's kind of. I would probably have like a massive URL, like some sort of like.
I like to be able to explain to people like, oh, if you go to wake.video/YouTube, you go
here
to my
we
YouTube
are.
channel.
See, look at that. Did you not just see me transition scenes?
Yeah, I was very, very fanciful.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so if you go to wake.video/Beetlebax, it takes you to the Beetlebax campaign page.
Wow, so you're all like you're 2023 all over.
I mean, it's hard. Websites are hard. Back in the day, www.https://www as in worldwideweb.com. It's like, come on, like no one. When you're talking to a person, or especially like the one that really irritates me is how Instagram doesn't let you put links in the body of the descriptions of.
Oh yeah, you got to do it really obnoxiously.
Yeah, so if you want somebody to go to a website, you better make that easily like memorable, because otherwise, forget it.
My mother's business card for her psychic practice. First of all, I've already talked to her many times about this. She refuses to change. It's foldable, so it's a foldable business card. It's like a business card pamphlet, and on the back, her website is an entire HTTPS //
you can't
on the business card. And I've told her, Mom, who's gonna type HTTPS? Have a QR code. She goes, no. I've had people. You're not gonna have a lady that's looking at the card. God forbid. But one thing, by the way, that I hate about Kickstarter is I clicked here on GentalmanWake, and it says Omar. It says your name, right? Omar Chavez. See, that's cool when you're like public. Like you're like, oh, you don't care that people know your name. But then let's say, I don't know, hypothetically, you have like a deck. Let's say it's pig based, like a missing piece deck or something like that. And then
right. You don't want people to know your full name.
And then it's there. In all its
the whole world.
Glory.
I'm pretty sure you can hide it if you.
No, because when you put your name in there, it goes, oh, this information will not be shared, which is your address.
How crazy is this? Let me share one more screen with you here.
Okay.
Do you have that scene set up?
Yeah, let me do that. Let me look at that.
This is going to be a little bit of a humble brag, or maybe a not so humble brag, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Look at that. Right now, I'm actually showing 2 angles of me. So you got 2 angles.
Okay.
My
All
webcam.
Right, so here we go.
Okay, so let's go watch stream. Wow, this interface is AIDS. All right, there you go. So now we're looking at your screen.
Yeah, so you're seeing all the launch campaigns that I've had?
Yes.
This is crazy, man. Like when you add all these numbers up, it's over $1.3 million.
Oh, wow. Mine is close. But then of that, realistically, you've seen probably like what, like $4?
About $50.
About $50.
Enough to be the primary source of my income over the last 5 years. I mean, that it is what it is, right? Like I've made income from other sources. I've done other things, but this has been generally a good thing for me to be able to, run a business. I need to be able to run a business. And a lot of the money that I make off projects, I end up sinking into other projects. Like, for instance, it's all like the fact that I have 3 projects ongoing, plus I'm in the middle of a Kickstarter. I can only do that because I've had, successes that have been able to pay for me to continue investing in the brand and moving it forward. Again, it's not just going in my bank account. So I can
Well, you're providing a product that there's demand for, which in our virgin arts is kind of weird, right? Because I always find myself like, wow, there's an audience for this, and people purchase it and spend money. So it's kind of funny for that. But again, what's crazy is how far you've come in this time. Because I remember just from the very first deck that you were putting out, the parlors, and then now you're out here in this deck. It's the journey has been quite acute.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey, man. It's definitely been a process of figuring things out, and I had got very, very lucky, and I'm very, very grateful for the people I met along the way. And I obviously Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so I very recently actually just put up a post on. I was feeling very grateful on the eve of launching this campaign, and I wanted to go back and kind of thank everybody who's kind of played an important part in the trajectory of my brand, of the brand, and the YouTube channel and all that stuff, and has helped me get to the point where I'm at. So one of the first things I did was I obviously thanked Lorenzo Gaggiotti, which is Stockholm 17, who did the parlor campaign, and he is still to this day a good friend of mine. We talk often. And for somebody who lives in Sweden, I talk to him quite often. And then all the other artists that I work with, Lautrec, who I worked with, and they all helped me in a lot of different ways. I learned from Lorenzo how to run a successful Kickstarter campaign how to be a professional creator in a way that I really, if I hadn't had, I don't think that I would have had the success that I had, right? Like, obviously, attaching his name to the project was a big deal too, you know. So, and Lautrec did, taught me some other things, and I learned as much from their successes as I did from their, from whatever pitfalls they faced. Like, they taught me how to do things a little bit differently. And then obviously moving forward with Kevin and Surgeon and Dan Greta, who did the groundskeeper deck for Wormwood, where I creative directed, and Zia Hunt, who did the corrupted deck. So all these artists and all these other people, like, influencers that helped me, like Alex Pandrea and the Buck Twins and all these people that did all these really important things for me and for my channel, and Chris Ramsey was really an inspiration.
Chris Ramsey was my best, your favorite one. I think that's the one that really taught you the most.
Inspiration. No, and of course you who have been a champion of the TGW brand since the beginning. You have always shown your support.
Can you tell that I've been doing push-ups?
Yeah, man, you're looking swole.
Look at the little titty. I could do little titties. I was. This is essentially you when you were a bouncer at
in South Beach days.
Yeah, that was a fun one. No, I saw that post and I was like, oh wow, so nice. Look at that, Omar dropping a little bit of a reference. I was very erect, honestly, at the reference. But yeah, then
man, obviously, nothing is accomplished in a vacuum, like nothing is accomplished in a vacuum. And one other thing that kind of irritated me in the past, and not to say that I've it's just, and I'm not going to name any names by any stretch, but like some that have seen, sometimes there have been creators that are unwilling to accept that they don't do things in a vacuum, and
Ooh, you don't want to name names, but you have a couple people in mind.
It could be from any walk of life, not necessarily playing cards, but just this idea that out there are people who think they're doing things on their own when they're not. You only are as successful as, you're really propped up on the backs of your community. Your community is what makes you successful, which is why I used to tell you at the very beginning, when your community might have been at its height, that you should have been releasing playing cards doing a playing cards Kickstarter, but you didn't listen to me.
Well, I was Omar, as you know, there's a myriad of things that come into being a professional full-time virgin, and things like I gotta edit videos, I gotta come up with them.
That's it.
There's things I gotta come up with, right? So it's I get busy, right? So I can't just dedicate my time full time to making up things like playing cards. God,
right. No,
but I do remember that how often you're like, "Hey, man,
you had the design for your playing cards like years before you released it."
2019, since 2019, which is the best part. And I remember you helping me shoot that video in 2019.
I did help you shoot that video.
Yeah, you being a director.
How was that going? How's the campaign going? What's been your experience?
AIDS, I think. I don't know if you watch Red Letter Media on YouTube.
Sure. I know them. I don't watch them often, but I know who they are.
Well, one of they did like a Star Wars review, and they were like talking about how everything's like nostalgia based, and they're like, "Whoa, Death Star! I know that." AIDS. Right. They're like talking about how the stuff. It's really, really humorous. So it's not easy. Gotta tell you, there's nothing about the process that's easy. I was going back and forth with them, and
with who?
With USPC, because there was an issue with the contract for a second. I was like, wait a second, why is this?
Wait a second.
Like,
what was the issue?
The issue was that I was charged a fee that I was not aware of, and the fee is waived if you were printing a normal amount of playing cards. But I was printing about 1,000 decks, so there's a fee. Yeah. So that's one thing, and I'm like, all right. And then, certain logistical, but everything is going smooth. Like as far as the process, she's been fairly communicative. There's obviously waves of time when you're like, okay,
and they are printing your tug boxes as well.
They are printing my tuck boxes, yes. So it's
that's
one and done.
That's one less level of complexity that you've avoided.
Well, I don't have a gilded Gilgamesh fucking, like your deck here. I feel the deck Mine is
Right.
simple. I
This
want to
is
go
straight,
simple.
Yeah, straight glossy cardstock.
Well, I got an email saying, "Oh, I got to update the backers from Kickstarter."
Yeah,
But
you do.
I
would,
haven't.
even if your updates just to say, "Hey guys, here's where we are. I'm waiting for production." Like even if that's all you're updating, that's
It's on my
good.
to-do
That's
list. It's
that's
on
a
my
good
to-do
practice.
list because I mean I like to every time I get an email, that's when I update. So I got an email forever ago, and she said, "Oh, hit me up after Thanksgiving, and then we'll give you a better." But apparently they're in the process of printing. They're already gotten the funds. Everything's good. They're in the process of that. But seeing that the priority is probably for bigger campaigns, maybe. Well, no, your deck is going through Cardamundi, so okay. I was gonna say maybe your deck is causing the delay, but yeah. So it's a fun process. It feels like a colonoscopy. I got to tell you, at times, especially when it's going to be the shipping. But I think that I'm going to be
How many
very
backers did you have?
like 180 or something.
Okay, all right, that's not too bad.
No, it's not
I
crazy.
mean, I feel like on average back, who's doing your fulfillment? You're doing it yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to touch because people want the deck signed and they want
Okay,
different.
that's fair. That's fair. It shouldn't be too bad. I mean, obviously, sending stuff overseas might get a little expensive. You might consider if you have a lot of people in Europe, you might consider sending all of your merchandise that you're shipping to Europe to one like fulfillment house and having them ship it out from there.
I think it's that
might
many.
be cheaper.
I think it's from what I looked, the majority are on the States, and then there might be like maybe 15 orders from
That's not bad.
European.
So
But
you're looking at an average of like $6 per person, more or less, roughly, maybe a little more.
well, it depends
You can-
because the quantity.
Right. The heavier shipping, some people might have ordered more, but yeah, I think hopefully your rates won't be so bad and you'll end up having.
No, but that's the other part. I'm like, we're looking at the rates, and I'm like, whoa, this is really exciting. Because ideally, for the consumer, you want it to be as least as possible. And that's the other part that I remember. Pandrea was, I think he made a video on, or he made some sort of Instagram that they're like, why do you charge shipping so expensive? It's like, it's not me, asshole. It's I go to USPC. Sorry,
People don't understand and I do something really interesting on Beetlebacks. If you're in the US or Germany, it's free shipping. You're not even paying for shipping in the United States.
so you're taking that lump?
I am taking that lump.
Okay.
I am absorbing that cost.
Yeah, which is a lot, by the way. It's a lot. That's the thing.
No, it's a lot of money. But then people are like, why do you charge $20 for your deck? Well, I mean, I'm rolling in the shipping costs. Right? So like instead of I could have charged you $13 for the deck, but then I would have charged you $7 for shipping.
Yeah, that's the other part. That's a scam. I don't know if you've seen like TikTok scam as of late that are like, oh, get this knife right here. It's free. It's free.
Right.
And
just
then
pay $34 shipping.
just pay $34 shipping. This I got this recently, by the way. Listen to this. Look at this. Look at how.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow, I told you that I have like my thing as of late is EDC.
Yeah, your ADC.
Yeah, so I'm becoming one of those virgins that they're like, but which one of these multi-tools is the best for my needs?
I have this one. Oh, and we cracked 83,000. Nice.
Hey, look at that. Let's go back to it. Let me show it here. The Kickstarter.
Nice.
Wow,
Nice.
this I'm getting deja vu to when I was doing my campaign.
Just
These
cracked
nuts.
83,400. So that's good. That's getting us closer and closer to that 90,000 mark where it unlocks the new deck.
Same with mine. I remember the same thing with my deck. I was like, whoa, dude, this is getting like 80. I forgot how much it was. Maybe like 80, 90 or something like that.
Like $90.
Well, let's not talk about the specifics of it. Let's see the comments here. You know what's funny? I remember years ago, maybe like 3-4 years ago, just going on, there was like a website, like a forum.
Before you move on, this is my knife on my desk.
Ooh, let's see. Hold on. Let's zoom in on this one. Seeing that we're talking about things.
The oak.
So you have the same knife. That's an M-Tech.
Is it?
You have an M-Tech?
What's an M-Tech?
It's literally the same shape of knife that we have. Because you have that. It has a bottle opener.
Yeah, it has a bottle opener.
Yeah. We have the same fucking knife, essentially.
Yeah,
yours
but
is
this one
wood.
doesn't this is not spring loaded though.
Oh, yours not spring loaded. Okay.
You have to really.
But it's the exact same shape. Like you have, does it have a clip on the end?
Yeah, put it on the back.
That's hysterical. Okay, so yours is same factory. Unless mine is a ripoff of yours. Was yours pricey?
This is to break the windows.
Okay.
In the back.
Okay.
Like press it against the window and it breaks.
Of the house?
I mean, just leave it. I just have it on my desk where I use it to
Well, I've realized now into this thing, but there's virginity in everything, right? There's virginity in music and
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
cigars.
I really don't know how it is that I am married.
Well, no, I'm saying virginity in the sense of.
Here's the thing. Like, I am like very much a conundrum. Like a contradiction is the right word, because I have always loved very geeky shit. I don't know, you can see it, like, right there's like action figures back here, like yeah. So I've always been into geeky shit. Like, I like geeky stuff. I've got my fucking Raphael here on the desk. He gave me a desk ornament, fucking Ninja Turtle. Like, I like this shit. I like nostalgia. I like the 80s, like all the vibes of that stuff. And
I noticed that going over to your house and seeing like these are like
it's worse now because like I've kind of like really doubled on into it. Like, I've kind of reliving my childhood through collectibles and artwork and shit like that. But anyway, the point is that somehow I've always been like this, but I also was like the dude that went to the gym and was the bouncer at a nightclub.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I remember taking those pics.
Suits and all the time, and I was always that guy too. So I've always been this and loved video games, but I also love sports. Really weird, like just a weird, like conglomerate.
But you don't let them know that. That's the thing. You don't let the girls know that until you're married with them. So that the only way they separate is litigation.
I mean, like, yes, but they would come over to my house and they would see like my display case where all my 6-scale action figures were.
Okay,
but like that.
I think we know that by the time they show up to your house, it's too late for them. At least for me, because I make sure that I have like a scrambler, like a cell phone scrambler in the front of my house, and if you you're not getting any signal, baby, no signal, baby.
I don't want to be interviewed on some documentary about the
Somebody said no MTech
slasher.
MTech, no, let me send you a knife. Yeah, I have a PO box. Send me a cool knife. Yeah, look at my PO box. I have a PO box. You could send that to me, because the thing is that I want to. I like the knives and the shit that I've got into. I don't care about losing this shit. Like, I don't want one of these $200. Like, I'm sure when your neck of the woods, like when it comes to playing cards, people collect them. They don't want to use them. They want to collect them.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, people want to collect them. I think some people use them. Some people actively use them to to play games with and stuff like that. Like, one of the things that I wanted to do as 1,000% funding, which I don't think we're going to get to, okay, because that would be $225,000. But if we did get to 1,000% funding, I would do PVC versions of this deck so that you can play poker with it.
Okay, PVC, you mean like plastic?
Plastic version, so that people can play poker with their cards.
Dude, I have a deck of cards that I got maybe like 15 years ago, like a plastic bicycle deck.
Yeah,
this right here, I bought this in Naples. I remember maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe like 7 years ago, but it's white. The borders are white. Like, these are so white, it's racist almost. If you're part of the hive mind of. That's when we get into questionable territory.
So I want to get into more poker related stuff, and we did in fact for the Groundskeeper campaign, which was for Wormwood. That one raised like $465K. That was like a poker campaign. And one of the things that we did was we offered PVC deck versions of the cards, so you can use them for.
But I put lotion on these cards before. Like,
you could wash those cards. You could literally take them to the sink and wash them,
and they still stay with the white borders.
Yeah, and you would be able to just you dry them and then you just, use them like you would normally use them.
Obviously, you're not going to use them for tricks.
Those are the cards that you play with when you're a bunch of sweaty dudes smoking cigars, drinking beers, because like and all the sweat and oils and all the stuff from your fingertips gets in the cards because they don't deteriorate. They're plastic.
You met me when I was I was going to say you met me when I was straight edge, which was my peak virgin form. So I didn't drink. I was what's that? You have a made up character that's like a nerd.
Eugene.
Eugene, right? I was Eugene. I don't drink.
By the way, I have to commend you. The thumbnail for this live stream was pretty genius, pretty funny.
Yeah, it's me as your wife. Let me see if I could put it here.
Why didn't you use a picture with a beard? It would have been funnier.
I used a swap. One of these.
My creative direction.
On your creative, well, luckily this is my show. All right, big wig. All right, you think that this? Let me see if I could play this here. So here we have it. Yeah, I guess I'm showing it now. So that's what AI thinks that I look like as a chick, because it gets your wife's facial features, and then it I guess puts in my face. Right. So I did, as far as if I would like hit it like myself as your wife, man, I would say no, because it's very clear from my upper lip that I have a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
So
you don't want a 5 o'clock shadow in your.
No, not anymore, man. Some girls, I remember. Jesus, I've had some experiences with hairy girls.
Like 5 o'clock shadow in their company, but if you're looking for feminine company, you're probably not interested in.
Well, then you also have like a 80s, the 80s guy that I have here.
The Moose, that's my character, Moose Dugan.
Moose Dugan. Yeah, I stole that from one of your thumbnails.
That's from a thumbnail?
Yeah. Or no, sorry, Instagram.
No, from my Instagram, because that's from the 80s. Remember that video that I did of the reviewing the 80s decks?
My favorite video of yours is still the ring one, by far. The coffee.
The ring was great, man. The ring coffee one is pretty. That was a lot of. I remember I was like, dude, check this out. I'm working on this. And it was like after we had shot our video. It was like the week after we shot our video.
Yeah, but what? Like, I was astonished by the shots. Everything was like. Obviously, I'm not. I'm a seasoned
experience in this business.
Well, I see the video that you shot, and I'm like, how the fuck did you even shoot this with a camera in your house? How?
Yeah.
So that, and then it was a perfect video because you're, and it makes so much sense because your wife's the girl from the ring because she hasn't had her coffee, and these, I hated the quality.
You're familiar with the idea or the concept of simultaneous like creativity, like where multiple people get the same idea at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
Independent.
Deep Impact and Armageddon were in the same year.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing where it's like two people have the same idea for a movie or the same idea for a concept for a short or something at the same time.
Olympus has fallen.
Or within the same, or they get like the same idea relatively short time span. It's really funny because about maybe a year after I had made that ring video, the coffee ring video, I get an email from a friend of mine and he's like, bro, these people copied you. And I go online, I click the link, and it's a video with very much the same story. Like a guy wakes up in the morning and his girlfriend is a zombie and he has to make her coffee. And it's the same kind of concept and the same. It's obviously done a little differently because I did things a little differently than they did. But generally speaking, it's the same video. Okay, and I was like, hell, man. But then I looked at the time, and that shit was made like 3 years before my video.
Oh, okay. So you're the asshole.
So apparently, I guess I never saw it. It's not something I ever saw, but I just think it's really interesting how your brain works, where you can have an idea and somebody else had the same idea.
Well, okay, so this one is a coffee ring scary parody. It was on your wife's channel.
Right.
When you Google it, I'm trying to find the one on your... Because I love this about YouTube.
It would be the coffee deck.
Yeah, I looked up GentalmanWake.
Bicycle house blend.
So I looked up GentalmanWake coffee, and nothing came up but Liza's stuff. And then...
Right, so type in GentalmanWake blend, house blend.
Blend. Okay, isn't that great about YouTube where you have to look up the exact title of the video?
Well, I may not have put coffee in my.
Well, I guess Liza put this on hers, so let's see. So let's see on this one. I guess the intro, like the actual. I don't know if this is it. Let me see if I could. Again, because I'm producer. So let's go here and check this out. This might be it. So this, oh my god. There's the one on her channel. Scam likely.
Yeah. Oh, that's the.
Hello?
That's like the end of
Who's this?
the whole scam.
I have a cold.
Hey, Yanni.
Ay, why does nobody save me to their contacts? Anyway, did you enter my giveaway? Because I'm about to announce the winner, and if you don't stick around until the end...
I'm still waiting for this.
I'm just kidding. Is that cafecito? I thank you.
So you did one for her channel as well, and then you did the one for your deck on your channel.
So if you go to my campaign, if you go to my page,
Yeah, GentalmanWake.
and you go to the search bar and just type in house blend.
Blend. Okay, so house blend. I almost died.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Just ridiculous. Let's sorry, did I get an ad? No, okay, so this is actually the video. Let's smoothly transition. I'm playing it now. Obviously you can't see it, but it's on the thing right now. Drone shot and everything.
Yep.
Look at the production. The dolly zoom.
The dolly zoom into the black bars and the saturated powder.
Just get me up. Oh my god, we're on the pause.
And this is a lot of fun to shoot. We shot this over like the course of like 3 in the morning.
The what?
It was like 3 in the morning and we were shooting this.
Yeah, watching this lets me know that you guys definitely roleplay. I don't know. And if you're not, I'd look at this though. These are immaculate. It's a used coffee pot.
I use it as a distraction. Yeah, this is a lot of fun to make.
I'm trying the whole thing. Now I'm watching this shit. Fuck it.
That coffee was like super hot, and she was like putting her tongue on the hot coffee.
You know, I don't know why my husband makes me seem like such a monster in the morning.
That's the old parlor.
Oh, God. No, that's... And then I remember when I first went to your house, you had like that thing that you either wallpapered or you stenciled in.
Yeah, the mask pattern that we stenciled in.
Yeah, no. In my house, I have the same fucking... from the previous... one of my... the tenant that lived here before died in the same apartment.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she died right there. I'm pointing at the over there, the kitchen area. She died. She had a heart attack. Like, she took a shower, and then she went naked, and she sat in the kitchen on her little dining room table, and she straight up died.
Oh, man, that's terrible.
Every time I walk into the kitchen, I'm like, there's a lot of cucuys in here, dude. I don't like any of that.
Oh, man, that's funny.
But that video, I hate how quality that video was. That video was just so the little.
That was like peak energy for me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That was like peak energy for me because I felt like I had the most energy for YouTube that I've had. Like I was putting in countless. I mean the production of that video plus the review plus at the end of that video there's this whole other bit that's like the ring, where that we did, and all of that, and then we did like a contest and stuff like that, and then like a week later I did the Sherlock Holmes one where I play Sherlock Holmes. Like, and then I did one where I was pretending to be Chris Ramsey, and then I did the one with you, and then
you got
it was
tattoos?
always like every week there was like a different like production on top of whatever the deck review was, you know.
Did you ever do
Some people really appreciate it, and other people were like, just fucking review the cards, man.
No, shut up with the fucking. You don't want to be the. Hey guys, today we're gonna be looking. I don't want to be that guy when doing a deck. You know, look at the quality difference between. I'm setting up my webcam. Obviously, I'm speaking. I don't want to say specific names, but like certain people that review cards and they put marbles in their mouth and then they go, "Hey guys, today we're gonna look at playing cards with the GentalmanWake deck," and then your deck where you put effort into these, like a coffee deck. Who would have ever thunk that you would have put this much effort reviewing a fucking coffee deck? It's amazing.
Sure.
But I was gonna get some
plain deck too. It doesn't even have anything to it. Sometimes I would pick decks specifically that were like that had very little to talk about because I was gonna spend so much time doing other shit. I didn't want to have to spend a lot of time like actually reviewing a deck.
Did you do the Peter McCubbin thing ever? No,
I never did Peter McCubbin. I was going to. I even bought the limited the LTD decks that he helped produce for Illusionists at the time.
Yeah.
And I was gonna do Peter McCubbin. I even bought the wig. I bought everything. I was gonna look like I was gonna be Peter McCubbin. I was gonna do the "What's up, everybody?" Like the whole thing, and I never did it.
The happy video.
I also had one I had one deck that I had the Breaking Bad deck that I was gonna dress up like Walter White and have Liza dress up like Jesse.
Yeah,
and like we were gonna sit on the couch.
I just for the Chris Ramsey one, I remember the tattoos that you put. Right?
Yeah, there were fake ass tattoos on my knuckles. Yeah.
You know what? I think that might be the next one that I get. A fake tattoo. Might be
the fake.
I don't know if
you have fake tattoos.
No, I have. You've seen my shitty tattoos, right?
Yeah, of course. I've seen all your tattoos, but you don't have fake tattoo. Tattoo seems like pretty obvious.
But my girl didn't fucking respond back. The one I had two more.
Here's what I think what you need to do. You need to locate a manufacturer on Alibaba that does temporary tattoos, and every night before you go out, you have to put a fake tattoo that's actually fake on your arm.
No, that's not the way it works. I'd have to get them for real. Like these are just
no. Get that one that's actually fake. That says fake tattoo and it's actually fake.
Well, I got a real one, which I hate. That this is like a real tattoo. But then I got a tattoo here that says "I regret this tattoo." So you can't see it there. But like this one is like a song that I like the meaning of it.
The whole tattoo shtick that you have is quite funny.
And then, but this one says,
"I definitely committing." You have committed to the bit.
Yeah, that's the other part. I just got this one recently. I regret this tattoo.
Full commitment to the bit.
But you don't know how many like fucking girls have been like, "Oh my god, that is so funny." And I'm like, "Wow, if you find that funny, you should find another tattoo funny." And then I show them the fact that I have another tattoo. But then you know what's funny? I've been with friends, and then they go, "Wife said that if I find a girl hot, if I show them, like if I show all of them, but if she sees." If she sees
one, is
that
why you showed me the tattoos?
I showed you all of them. Yeah, I showed you the. I'm like, hey, small tattoo, smaller tattoo, meaningful tattoo. I showed you absolutely all of them. But you could tell if I find a girl attractive because there was a couple girls that are like, oh my god, that's so funny, small tattoo, and I go, thank you for that.
And you just walk away. Walk away from you.
No, but I'm like, hey, here, I have this one, that one, this one. Hey, this one's funny.
Right, that's how you know. That's how you know you're rizzing. You're rizzing as the young kids say.
Wow, I gotta tell you, man, you're hitting it up. You're trendy. You're trendy. Do you know what a gyat is?
A what?
A gyat?
A gyat? No, gyat. A gyat is like, what is that? Like a get?
It's an ass.
Oh, okay. A gyat.
Yeah, I hate that I'm on TikTok so much that I just scroll like doom scroll. If you're familiar with this term, we're just going through.
Joe just said that he took the marbles out of his mouth so that he could type this.
Nice. Wow, strong. I forgot that guy's name, by the way. I don't even want to mention it, but what's the guy's name?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I plead the fifth. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have beef. I've had beef now in my magic, like getting into the industry more so. I've gotten beef with
in your magic old age.
Yeah, because the thing is that obviously I forget that, people value these videos for, even though I don't think so, but so I've gotten beef with certain people that are in the industry, and they've messaged me on email, and then they're like, hey, you made this video about me and it's a lie. And I'm like, no, it's not. So I have beef with people. There's one guy, Unbiased Magic Reviews. I've done that. There was a whole
that's like super biased with his reviews.
Well, yeah, he's not biased, and there's a whole bunch of controversy because somebody came up with a trick that's like, I don't even want to get into it right now, but in one of the comments, he left a comment saying, "Hey, stop showing magic, you piece of shit! Like, stop showing magic tricks."
Right.
So,
right.
And then he's done a. But the thing is that I want him to beef with me more. He hasn't beefed with me enough. He's only beefed with me in that sense. Like, he left a comment on my video, and he's only like kind of referred to other YouTube reviewers, but he hasn't directly said PigCake. And I'm like, I want to be hated too. I want to be part of your hit list.
I've been called out a couple times for doing things the way that I do them.
That's what I was going to tell you. I remember seeing one of these forums, these like playing card forums, and then I forgot what I was looking up, but I just see GentalmanWake, yeah, and you're cutting people. You're there going back and forth with having flame wars.
Don't cut people. I don't have flame wars. I just like to explain things the way they are so that people can explain them. Sometimes they understand them. Sometimes people don't get it, and they just think they're ignorant. That they think they know something or they don't know. So
you're more polite.
To point out to them. What's that?
You're more polite.
I'm very much a respectful. I very much treat everybody with respect, and I try to be courteous and kind whenever I offer a rebuttal to something that I think is incorrect.
Not me. I like not to make that about me. This is the GentalmanWake show.
Listen, there's a part of me that would love to be able to like just say some ridiculous like shut down comment or something like that,
Well,
but what's that gonna get me? Where's that? The momentary satisfaction of actually doing it is literally the only thing that
catharsis, a little bit of release.
Those maybe, but it wouldn't be worth it in the long run because I think also it would sour other people's opinion of me, which I think is more valuable.
Well, luckily, my reputation is based on the many compilations that have been sent to potential employers based on jokes that I've made previously, which is just great. Isn't it wonderful? Like just little bits. And they've even sent them to friends and family from, isn't it wonderful?
I definitely don't want that to happen.
Well, what I saw recently, I don't want to name names as well, but there was a high prominent magician that recently put out saying like, hey, YouTube, you should report this guy. This guy left a comment saying that I should kill myself on a video. Yeah. If I reported every comment that's ever told me, hey, Piggy, you should kill yourself. And of course, what I respond, which is probably in slurs and some sort of references to their appearance or whatever, I would be full time responding to people that tell me, hey, Piggy, you're an idiot. You're a virgin yourself. Kill yourself. I've gotten so many. But this very high prominent magician said YouTube, and he tagged YouTube. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about.
No.
No?
Do I? Should I know?
Yeah, he solves puzzles.
Oh, right.
I'm hiding behind your face.
I guess I might.
I'm hiding behind your face now. No, but I saw that on Twitter and tagged this individual of like, hey, YouTube, you should look at this guy, maybe cancel his account. And it's like a guy that said, hey, your puzzles are lame, you should kill yourself. I'm like, I should make a compilation as to how many comments I've gotten in reference to me ending my existence.
It's a sad state, man. Sad state of being a content creator. We all deal with it. I know that it's even worse. Like, for instance, my wife is as awesome a person as there is on the planet. And she sometimes gets ridiculous comments that come out of nowhere. And you're like, what the hell? Like, why are people like this? Like,
yeah, well, I remember what I told you before, that your wife was going to definitely supersede anything that we've done.
Oh, there's no doubt. She's already at 160K or whatever.
Which was just a matter of time. And I'm like, bro, there's no way she's not gonna. And I'm very happy for her because also the amount of, same thing with you, the amount of like time and effort. And that's what people don't understand. My videos, I set up, this is my main camera. It's an Osmo Pocket 2. Right. I set this up and then I press record and then I usually wake up. Like I wake up and then I record a video. I'm kind of hungover usually. So there's no production quality. And then I remember when you would set things up and you're like, no, I got to do this. The light, you have the aperture light.
Yeah, I still have that. Yeah, that's a great light. We have pictures of you in the living room of the old place where.
Yeah, I covered my
Or, like,
face.
set up.
I remember that.
Yeah, no, there's some I think there's some versions without your face covered up.
No, I know, because I put a pig over it, and then I'm like, hey, let me hide my face. But I remember that the video, and I was and I told you this before, that I was such a little, word that I'm not gonna name, about my blurring in that video, where you had a video where I was outside a store, and then you sent me the video, and I'm sure you hated me for like
blurring. I made you blur. You made me blur it more.
Yeah,
and it was really unnecessary.
No, it was not necessary. It was definitely not necessary. You've been right about everything you've told me.
Wow.
Hey, make the 50K face reveal shorter. Yes.
That I for sure was right about.
You were right. I looked at him like, no, fuck Omar, what the fuck is he now? This shit looks good. I like the whole song. In hindsight now, I'm like, yeah, it should have been way shorter.
It could have been 1 minute and 30 seconds, and you would have been. It would have been awesome.
Okay, all right, shut up. But you're right. I'm saying you're right. And then the deck, obviously sooner. You're right. And then that one, the last one we're saying. All right, so you've been right.
Yeah, just sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. But I want to emphasize that I am right, not because I am smarter or more intelligent or what. It's because I'm older.
Older.
I just been through these things and learned some very difficult lessons over the years.
Yeah, but I'm young and full of cum, so I'm like, no. I know better. I know better than him. And then of course I look back and I'm like, no, he was right. I should have listened. Shut up. I should have maybe taken a little thing. Omar, we've crossed the 2-hour mark here.
Yes, I know. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I know that I convinced a couple of people to hop on board and then made the number go up, so it was worth both our whiles.
Oh, of course.
So I appreciate that. I appreciate the exposure, and maybe we'll do it again before the campaign ends. So that's one more time to kind of.
Well, I always regret that you didn't do that podcast idea that we talked about briefly. Conversations over cards.
Yeah, the conversations at the card table.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to do it. I just didn't do it because I never found the right avenue to do it. Well, and obviously living in South Carolina, it's a little harder for me to do.
Well, it's high production. It was very, you wanted to have a podcast that's like at the card table and then camera setups. I wanted to have
multiple cameras. I wanted to be able to do it the right way, do it like a real thing, you know.
And that would have been a very
and I think it would have been fun because I think you could have the conversations at the card table. It doesn't have to be somebody who knows how to play cards. It could be anyone. You can just, as long as you're sitting and enjoying, a game of cards or whatever while you're talking to them.
And you have like a guy like me, maybe, that I know what to do with a deck of cards, I know my way around a deck. Dealing, like with the little dealer outfit.
Exactly.
I'm there doing the shuffles.
With your little arm pinch bands.
Yeah. Okay, I thought you meant something else. I'm like, they don't do those anymore. Like the bands with the logo on them,
Yeah.
The ones that I have apparently from voting the way that I did.
Okay. All right. On that note, goodbye.
Well, Omar, thank you for joining the PigCast here. I hope that in some maybe on the Gentleman Cast you have me on.
Yeah, at some point, I probably will do a live stream before the campaign ends. So I'll let you know, and you can come on there and we can talk.
Well, because you did help tremendously in terms of morale for my last one when I had you for the GentalmanWake deck. Sorry, the GentalmanWake, the missing piece deck.
Right.
The
GentalmanWake is the missing piece. Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah, I wish that I could just finish it off myself.
Did that help you or did that make you feel worse? I don't remember.
Oh, well, a good combo, I would say. It was like, oh, well, listen, what you should have done was. But then I also got the same conversation from Daniel with the deck. He's like, bro, what you should have done. And I'm like, listen, all right, what I should have done should have been in the past. Okay, I didn't do that.
Right.
I didn't do that. So right now I just have to. It was one of those, and then it's a bunch of people smarter than me telling me things that I should have done.
Well, look, here's the thing. Now you're going through the experience. You're learning. You understand that you have to do certain things to do. I think you can be successful doing it. It's just a question of
Yeah, whether or not I want to get the water-based loop.
No, I think learning from the process. I also think that as good as a missing piece artwork is, I think you maybe be slightly more successful if you decided to go something more traditional.
Well, that's exactly what the next deck is going to be.
Yeah, so there you go.
Well, that's another thing that I've realized in the not to be too candid here, but this first deck was a very brand specific deck that was like, hey, if you like Piggy, here it is, the missing piece. It does look good. I think it stands on its own. However, it doesn't have a broad appeal. Whereas the next deck, the D piece, I don't want to say what that stands for yet, but I think that one's going to be more generic and it's going to be marked. So it's going to be something that magicians could play with better than this one. But this one is a very, brand. You've been following me for how many years? This is that.
This is that. The missing piece is definitely that. Yeah, definitely.
But I'm still happy with that. The fact that it launched, even if honestly,
I think also as you move on and you do other decks, you might have people that want to come back and get that one too, and you'll be able to reprint it and do other things.
True, but honestly, as I don't, and I mean it, it's not just whatever. Because from this deck, I'm making nothing. Like honestly, like probably like $200. Right. When I see the videos of people with the deck in their hands, that's gonna make it worth it for me. Like even if I'm probably gonna be in it. So when I see people like shuffling the cards or farting on them, doing compilations on are you familiar with the website crazyshit.com?
No.
Okay, we should check it out.
It sounds like I see things that I don't want to see.
Well, you do, but you also see things that you want to see. Like, look, this is depending on what you're into. I don't know if you're into like bukkake stuff, but anyways, like when I see people with the cards, that's what's really gonna make me happy, and I don't care whatever. And like that's really ultimately what I care for. I'm sure you had that same experience with the.
Yeah, absolutely. Every single time. And whenever I see anybody like comment or talk or, look, at the end of the day, like the thing that I want most is for people to have a good experience when they receive the product, right? Like when they get the product and it's in their hands and they're physically holding it and they're like, oh, this is worth it. This was worth the 9 months or 8 months or whatever that I waited for it. And it was worth the however much money I spent on it. And I want, not only do I think this is worth it, but it's going to compel me to continue to purchase products from this person. That's what I want. So
yeah, I mean a business sense too, but I'm kind of in the artsy, like kind of, I don't want to say the word, but you know the word that I'm thinking of, somewhat of a slur, but like kind of like the artsy way that I'm just happy that the product exists and that I never thought that it would be there. Now obviously, money's great, right? Like, hey, FPL, do you take missing piece decks as a payment? No. You're gonna shut the power? All right, great. Like it's not. But it's just a thing that you have to remind yourself as to where you come from. And I'm very grateful. Even the friends that I've made along the way. Very happy for that.
Absolutely.
So typically I like to end these streams with like giving advice. And the advice I think we've given throughout the video. I also like ending it with saying that Nancy Pelosi is doing a lot of insider trading. And she's getting away with it. Like an absurd amount of insider trading. Like she makes what $250,000 a year, and she's worth like what 200 million at this point. I don't even know. All right, but maybe we should look into that.
All right, dude.
Any parting words?
No, that's it. Thank you so much for having me, and go to wake.video/the become a backer, help a brother out.
Help a brother out. All right.
Big fucking tits.
Okay.